Hello and welcome to Higher Ground Gaming. This is Eric. Tonight we're going to do another video of our top 100 board games as of April 2023. This is games number 60 to 51, and this will be the last that I do for a little while anyway on my channel. And as next week, this week, on the 29th of April, Sunday night, April 29th, 2023. At 8 p.m. I'll be doing we'll be starting our top 50 board games of all time with ID Gesture on his channel. ID Jester, ID and then Jester, all one word. And also with Phoenix Knight and Lower Slower Board Game. We'll be doing our top 50 board games, So that'll be a lot of fun. Again, we're doing the top 10, 50 to 41 this Sunday, and then we'll be doing 10 each Sunday night until we get to number 1. So 5 weeks of board game goodness. Who will be number 1? How many crossovers will we have? And how many new board games will we discover that we like? Alright, so without further ado, let's get started here. At number 50 is a rather big box. It's not a big box version of the game, but it is a big box. It's a game by Burnt Island Games and Grand Gamers Guild. It's a game that I did not get off Kickstarter, but it was on Kickstarter. The original came out, I think, in 2009, and then this one, I'm not sure exactly the exact date, but you'll see in a second. They did a reprint, and they added a little bit to the game, and they call it, without further ado, here we go, Endeavor Age of Sail. So as you can see, it's rated really high, 7.9 rating. Came out 2018. This is a little bit hard to find when I did get it. And I paid what at the time was a high price, like $60 for this game, but $60 for the size of this game is not bad nowadays. But I got it. I did do the Kickstarter for this. In fact, I bought the base game when the Kickstarter was on Kickstarter. And I'm not sure exactly what the name of it is. I got it here somewhere. I didn't bring it out, but I do have the base game right here. I'll show you really quickly because it's heavy. But nice big box. It's got a really unique system in it, which I like. System of action selection and everything. But definitely a fun game. Let me show you some pictures here. So here is your playboard, and I did get the deluxeified version of it too. So it's got some nice components to it, which you'll see in a second. But this is your player board. There's 4 different areas of your playboard up top here. You use a lot of player discs and stuff. Down on the bottom, you're going to be collecting cards. And you can have bad cards as well as good cards. Well, bad cards meaning they could cost you something. So it is based upon the colonization period. So there is slavery in the game. But there's a penalty to taking slavery. If you take slavery in the game and then it gets abolished later on, you're going to get negative points. But anyway, that's just a very minor part of well, not minor, but a part of the game that you can avoid if you want to. I usually tend to avoid it, although you do get some good rewards, as you'll see, for doing it. But like anything else, you can pay consequences for it. All right, so let's see here. So this is, like I said, the game board right here. You're going to be buying buildings, which you're going to be placing right where this red ribbon is right here. And you can buy buildings of different levels, which gives you different powers. And you'll see you're going to want to be able to go up on all these tracks right here in order to basically explore the world. So let me show you here. So that's the big box here. I mean the box. These are the tokens here for the deluxe version, deluxeified version, which I have. Each one of these right here represents a different track: a gold track, I think an influence track, a building track, and I can't remember the other one too. But there's 4 of those, and then the first player token is the crown right here. Really neat little cannons and stuff and ships in the game, which is pretty cool. Those are deluxe components. Let's see if I can show you some gameplay in action. So this is the player board right here. It's divided into different regions of the world, And if you have exploration actions, you're going to be placing discs of your color onto the board here. And what's really cool about this is that say you conquer a certain territory, like say you're blue right here, and then there is a bonus if at the end of the game these star-looking things in here, those are victory points. That's the symbol for victory points. And if at the end of the game you're able to connect different territories together, like say what this yellow is right here, there's a mechanism where you can do combat, and by spending discs you can defeat the other player that's already there, and take it over. And if you own both sides of this, you get extra victory points. There's an area majority in here. I don't know if you can tell it, well, you can see it, but up top here, so you start in this area here, which is I think the European area, I believe, which is where the exploration primarily started, a lot of it. These other areas are all going to be locked areas right here, and what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to send a ship into the other areas, and these tracks right here, you're going to be putting discs, shows you're exploring into a certain area right here, and in order to get a presence in that area, you have to put your player discs. Now, the player discs are going to unlock different rewards, such as moving up on the different tracks, giving you gold and whatnot, influence, that kind of stuff. And once depending upon the player count, once the last token is taken, hey, Miss Mags, once the last token is taken, then the area is open, and the person who holds who I can't remember exactly how it goes, but I think it's the majority or whatever, becomes there's these cards right here, and you're going to unlock different cards right here, which are going to give you bonuses. And I think if you have the majority in there on the track, I think it is, then you become the governor of the area. I think that's how it works. Whoever has the most tokens in the area and on this track here to open it up, and you become the governor, and you get special privileges and stuff like that too. The English area here too has two different areas. It has the regular majority and tokens you can get, and it also has the slavery area here too. So you can take from either one of these, and you have to have a certain amount of influence in the area in order to take these different cards here. You'll be increasing influence as you go. So yeah, so basically a map of the world. It's like an area, a majority thing, and it's really a fun game. Here's a better show right here. See, this area right here is worth 2 victory points if you hold it at the end of the game. And then again, these are the different. You can see these are the different symbols for the tracks. The brown ones right here, and I think these blue ones might give you extra actions. That's what it is, an extra action on your turn, that kind of thing. So a number of actions on your turn. Here's a good example here. So this is using the regular custom, upgraded parts right here. These are tracks, and you have to have a certain area. Like I think the top one is a building track, and that determines what level of building you can buy. These are buildings you can buy from the different areas, and I believe it's either 3 or 4 different buildings in each level, and depending upon, and some of them are production buildings, some of them straight production, some of them you put discs on, and you're able to use its power to perform different tasks such as exploration and production, that kind of a thing. So the first one determines what level you're gonna be at there. The second one determines how many actual discs you get. Like this player is going to get 3 discs here. Some buildings, in order to unlock them, require you to have a disc on the building itself and an additional one in supply that you put on the map, kind of thing. So you have to have a pair of discs in order to operate some buildings. So you have to keep track of that. So you always want to kind of keep going up on all the tracks. The third track is I think that's some sort of, I believe that's an exploration. It looks like the globe there. So that allows you to show you how far you can travel and go and explore. I think that's what it is. I'm not sure exactly. And then the last one, I think, determines the level of cards that you can get. Yeah, and how many cards you can hold. That's what it is. This guy can hold 3 cards now in his tableau. You can have more during your turn, but I think at the end of your turn you have to discard down to the number yeah, that you have there. But it's a really fun game. These are some. These look like they're. Looks like a different. Yeah, these are some of the bonuses. This first building right here either allows you to do exploring or attacking. Um, this one I think allows you to either go get certain goods or whatever, or do something else. I can't remember exactly what they are. This one gives you 2 straight victory points and allows you to do double action. Get you double coins or something like that, double rewards, I believe it is. These are the regular base tokens, and I think in the version I have too, it has upgraded. I think they're ceramic tokens, I believe, or either ceramic or wooden. I can't remember offhand. Yeah, so it's a cool game, and they actually on Kickstarter now, or very soon, they're going to be having another version of this game called Endeavor Deep Sea, which is already getting great rewards. So yeah, these are some of the bonuses you get off the cards here. These are some higher level cards, as you can. I think these are the governor cards right here. So you get a lot, and what this means is that you get to go up on those tracks, like this one up here. You would get to go twice up the gold track, once up the card track there, and then once up the and you get a victory point off of it. This one just gives you 3 things off the card track and 1 victory point. If you ever lose these cards, you lose the benefits too, so you have to go back on the tracks too. So there's ways you can lose the cards too, as I think I described earlier. But this one is the governor, so if anybody ever gets a majority in the area over you, takes the majority away from you through battling or whatever, they become the governor then, and you have to give the card to them, and they get all the benefits, and you lose the benefits. So just because you go advance on certain tracks, you can go backwards. Yep. So this is Endeavor, Age of Sail, and I think there's 2 different maps. Yeah, there's 2 different maps, and it depends upon the player count. That's what it is. Yeah, these right here are different. It comes with different like side quests and stuff like that, which you can do. You can put these, add these into the game. It's kind of like a mini expansion, I guess you could say. But there's different quests that you can try to complete by putting tokens in these certain areas here. And I think when it's filled, it completes the area, that kind of a thing. Yeah, so there's different quests you can complete. Like this, you can work for the Dutch East India Company and put tokens on there and get different bonuses and stuff. But yeah, it's got a bunch of those. I haven't played with many of those quest things, but some of them are pretty fun from what I've seen. Other players play them through. Yeah, this is the expansion right here. I do have that in the box, and basically what that does is it adds a whole new set of buildings, and I think cards. It has you change out the cards. Yep. Miss Mags likes it. Yeah, and then here are some of the buildings here before you punch them out. Yeah, and it does come with very nice trays right here. And, oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. And in this right here is you can play up to 5 players, and all your tokens and everything are in one little plastic case which you take out. And your starting buildings, your all your tokens of discs of your player color, and some other, I think, victory point markers, and your boats and crests and seals in your color too, which is pretty cool. So it is a really good production value. And again, that's what it was for $60, which I thought was expensive at the time, but this upgraded version is well worth it. It's probably a lot more expensive now, but yeah. So that's Endeavor, Age of Sail, and that is my number 60. And as you can see, just to go back here, yep, it's rated 141 on Board Game Geek, so it's strategy 98. All right, so Endeavor, Age of Sail. All right, my next game is a game that I also got off of Kickstarter. I did play the game before that, but I got my copy with the expansion off of Kickstarter, and this took a long time to come out because unfortunately, when the game was, going into fulfillment, during COVID and all that stuff, unfortunately, the owner of the company passed away, and he had to go. They ended up selling the company. The company got sold, but thankfully the company that bought it out were able to produce the game. It took like I think almost a year longer, but I mean, that's something like that is understandable. Um, I've had Kickstarters go longer than that, and nothing like that has happened. But anyway, so that game is a very popular game. It's a sequel to a game, but that game is called the Manhattan Project Energy Empire, and that is by let's see, who is that? Minion Games originally. I'm not sure who has it now. If it's still Minion, I don't think it's still Minion Games. I think it's another company now. But anyway, Minion Games was the company that the owner passed away there, or the founder passed away. But anyway, you can see it's rated really high, 7.8. Overall 272, strategy 164. And that is right over here. And I do have it. I have played it. Like I said, my buddy has the game. I have not opened it up, my version of it yet. So this is on my shelf of shame right now. But it's a worker placement game. No kidding. Euro. Of course, ID gesture. Would not be surprised at that. And then the expansion is the Cold War expansion right here. But it's a really, obviously, I mean, I keep saying that. I know all my games I say are really fun, but it really is a great game. Just to show you here, it's got all these different buildings and stuff you can buy, and in order to activate buildings that you have in your tableau, you have to place workers on them. Workers are energy bolts here. I'll show you how that works in a second here. See if I can show you the main board here. It's a little far. It looks like a prototype almost. These are cool dice that are in the game, and after you go through all your workers and energy, you have to re-roll these different energy dice. And some of them have good results on them. Some of them will give you toxicity. As you can see, these yellow die have toxic things on them, radiation, and bad things there. There's a nuclear die, which gives you double the amount of bad stuff, nuclear radiation, that kind of stuff. So you start with and then these green die are just what you might think green die. They're like clean energy type stuff, so there's no bad stuff. These are the oil die right here, which you can roll, and they all depend. You roll whatever. You can purchase die in the game, that kind of stuff, and you can decide whether or not you want to roll die. But obviously, the more die you roll, the more chances you have of something good or something bad happening. The cool thing about it is when you roll the die, you only take the highest value die. Like, say, for instance, these were all the die that were rolled right here. Let's just say you rolled you had a yellow 5, a blue 5, and a red 6. So the highest die is what you take determine whether or not you go through any radiation kind of thing. So in this case, since the 6 die trumps the I don't think that's a cloud thing. I'm not sure. I think that's still all right. But this radiation on this 5 die, because you rolled another die that was higher, this radiation wouldn't take effect. So it's only the highest die that determines whether or not your radiation takes effect. However, and then what you would do is you would add the energy bolts here, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you get 7 energy, and then you get your workers back. And I think you start with 3 workers, and you can get up to 5. But let me just show you a board so it would make a little bit more sense. It's got really cartoony type artwork in it, which is nice. Kind of like gives you like a 50s Fallout vibe a little bit. Cold War period. Let's see if I can find. I gotta find a really good something of the player of the actual board. Let's see if I can find it here. It'll make more sense if I can describe it on the board here. Okay, yeah, this is right here is your player board here, and you have a like an air area, you have a land area, and you have a sea area, and these can be filled with different bad things on them too. They can be filled up with different toxicity levels and stuff like that too. So you want to try to keep your toxicity down. You can drill for oil on here, but again, that causes bad things to happen if you drill for oil. These are where you put all your resources down below here. These die right here. See if I can get a little closer here. It determines when you buy die. It determines what the different sides of the dies have on them. Some good, some bad stuff on them. Let's see if I can. As far as I don't have a good picture of the actual player board. I mean, the actual main board. Yeah, this is the main board. It's, again, not the greatest view of it. Let's see if they got one from the top here. These are just the different die in the game. You gotta have something other regular thing. These are the so every round there are these tokens that are gonna come off. These radiation tokens and stuff like that come off, and as soon as each one of these stacks is depleted, an event will happen. The first 3 events in the game, I believe it is, I think it takes place over 6 rounds. The first 3 events are something positive, and then the last 3 events in the game are something negative. And there's ways you can foresee what that's going to be to see if you can try to mitigate it, kind of thing. Down below here, it shows barrels of oil, and I think that shows you can always buy brown dice, I think, for a certain amount of, or you can sell oil for a certain amount of coinage. Yes, here is this. This is I was hoping that I could see here. This is the main board. I'll try to explain it. And there's different areas on the main board, and it's basically, like I said, a worker placement area. We're going to be taking a worker from your tableau and or energy. You get little energy tokens based upon your die rolls there, and some of them require you to have the main worker on them, I think, and some of them require don't require it. You can use either the little worker you have or the energy, and some of them you can use both. And they cost different amounts of power to operate these different areas here. And these are areas where you can buy cards, you can perform different little actions. You can, and once you buy the cards, there's areas where you can set off colors, all colors of a particular. It's a set collection type thing where you're collecting different colors of cards and stuff too, which perform different actions. Resources you can use to power up the cards too. Some of them require that. There's also a track. It's kind of a little hard to see here, but it's a main track here, which you have to go up on at least a little bit, or else you could get negative points, I think, of it. But only one person can go up the track fullest, and what that has to do, it has to do with the country that you are. Depending upon what country you represent, like France, Australia, Germany, Russia, United States, it's going to be required to use certain resources to go up on that track there. And those are kind of like a diplomatic kind of section. There's end of game scoring tiles, which you can purchase here too. And again, you have to have certain conditions in order to meet those. But a typical worker placement game, but a very fun one. Let's see here. That's a little bit better thing. So this kind of shows you these cards were activated, so they use power on here. This one used a worker and a lightning bolt on it. Also, too, there's, I think, on the main board, when you activate a certain area, if you're the first person, some of them multiple people can go to, but if you're like the second person to go to that area, you have to use an extra worker or a worker on top of a lightning bolt, that kind of a thing. So you have to stack it. You have to have a stack thing where you use more of a worker or more of a worker and a lightning bolt energy in order to activate that area if you're the second person. But very fun game. Definitely one that I'm looking forward to opening, and it's got a good solo mode to it, from what I remember, or remember watching. But yeah, definitely a game where you got to be careful to bounce. And this is a game like it kind of shows you the positive events, the green ones, and the negative events, the red ones. You kind of do know what kind of events are going to come out, but you're not sure the order of them. There are, I think, a few extra cards, I think, in addition to these. The asymmetric powers, not all that exciting. They could have probably made those a little bit more enticing, but overall, though, it's a very good game, and that is my number 59, and that is Energy Empire. have to get Manhattan Project Energy Empire. And it's based upon the original Manhattan Project, too, which it's a little different type of game. But that's a fun game, too, but I like this one better. All right, going to my number 58. This is a game that Mags really likes. Mags is a big fan of this game. Brody wasn't such a great fan of this, but you can probably figure out what I'm saying now. And this is called Isle of Cats. So number 58, Isle of Cats. I believe I got this off of Kickstarter when it first came out. And I did get some of the original expansions. I didn't back the second expansions. I have a friend who, a lady I play board games with, and she absolutely adores this game. Her and her friend, well, they're both named Jen. They adore this game. This is like their favorite game. They'll play this like 4 or 5 times a day when they get together. It is a very it's a card heavy game. It's great product. I did get pimped up, yeah. Deluxeified versions of the game. And it is a very fun game. It's on BGA. I play it more on BGA now than I probably do anywhere else. But these are just different tokens and the cards here. Let's see if I can get the actual game here. There's the game. But yeah, this is your player board right here, and it's got a like a Feast for Odin. It's got like a polyomino thing where the cats are different polynomial shapes, and when you have to rescue them from an island. And I think it's 5 rounds, I want to say, and you have to rescue as many cats as you can, and many combinations, and achieve different goals and stuff by filling up your boat as best as possible, achieving certain goals and rescuing cat families, basically any family of cats of different colors that are 2 or more. And the more cats of each family you get, generally the more points you're going to get. Let's see here. There's a drafting system which you can use in the game, which you can draft your cats, draft your cards. So that's basically an example of the different cats that were placed there that were drafted. There's rats on the board which you're going to want to cover up. In this case, there's also certain cards you can get which gives you points for not covering up the rats. But into the game, these will be -1 apiece for every rat you haven't covered up. But he might have a card, or this person might have a card that gives you points for every uncovered rat. So these little flags on the little call it maps here on the boats are allow you to take treasure if you cover them up with the appropriate color of cat there. These treasure ones are here. There's common treasure and there's rare treasure. So basically every round you're going to be taking these. There's like 2 different markets: a three fish market, fishes with the currency in the market, which makes sense with cats, and a 5 fish market. And you're going to be drawing out of a bag a certain amount of cats each round. So this is an example of a 3-player game right here. This is the main. This is the player order thing right here. And then just the 5 rounds that take place in the game. I think it's 5 rounds before the evil guy comes and steals all the cats from the island. But these are the 2 markets. This is the 3 fish market and then the 5 fish market on the right. And then here there's a certain wild type of cat. It's called the Oshaks or something like that, or Oshaks, or however you pronounce it. And if you get a certain card, you can draft these special cats. And these cats can be of any color. So what you do is they're kind of like wild cats. So basically you draft the cats, put them on your boat, and you have part of the game is trying to fit the cats in the right areas. You can't have any cats extending over the edges of the boat. And there's certain rooms inside your boat too, which you're going to try to fill it. If you have any empty rooms, you'll get negative points at the end for every room that's not filled. But these cats right here when you place them on your board, you put those colors I showed you before, those colored cats on them to designate what color that cat represents. Let's see here. Let's see, but yeah, you put one of these things on it to determine what cat. And these are really, I said, really good production value. The fish had regular cardboard tokens in the original, and in the advanced version has like wooden fish there, which is cool. Let's see here. Yeah, but just different. So if you're into polynomial type stuff and figuring out how things fit, this is a great game for that. Yep. But there's tons and tons of cards in this game too, and yeah, you'll never run out of cards. And you have to get baskets in order to you have permanent baskets, which are these green things right here, which give you one cat. Nick comes at the start of the game, and then you have cards in which you have baskets on them, or half baskets, and you have to combine them. And and there's also boots on those cards too, so whoever has the most boots has the most speed, is the fastest, so they'll get to go first and rescue the cats. They'll have first choice kind of thing. But the number of cats you rescue on every turn is determined by how many baskets you have. Again, the permanent baskets you'll keep round to round. The cards you get rid of every round, so you'll have to draft new cards to rescue new ones. There's public goals and there's private goals. So if you don't want people to get other people to get the rewards you're getting, don't choose the public goals. But if you choose the private goals, only you obviously will get those goals. But a very well designed game, a fun game, very thematic. Again, Isle of Dogs would have been cool too, but maybe they'll come up with that. There is a game called Bark Avenue, which I'm going to be getting soon, which is a dog walking game. So, but anyway, yeah, the boats are different. I think differently laid out. Maybe not in the original base game, but they did come with an expansion, which I think I have some of the boat expansions. If not, I played with them before, and they're fun. Different little shaped boats, but definitely a fun game, and a game that is my number. Hey, Mag's showing how much she loves the game here. And that is my number 58, Isle of Cats. And the next game I thought I had here, but for some reason I don't have here, so I don't have the physical copy of it. And I think it's the only one of these top 10. Mags is in the way, as you can see. Mags really loves this game. Okay. All right, Mags, go lay down. All right, so next game is going to be my number 57, of course, and that is Crown of Amara. And that is rated number 781 overall, strategy 429, 7.4. And this game, it just looks super generic when you look at it. It does come with a solo mode. It's a medium weight game, but it's a game that you're going to be going up on 2 different tracks, and the higher the 2 tracks is going to determine your score. So it's a very fun game. Let me just show you, see if I can show you a faraway version. Yeah. So basically what this game entails is you're going to have one set, and these are kind of like if you've played Viscounts of the West Kingdom. It's a modular board here, and there's 2 sets of modular boards. Each board here is made up of 3 like triangles, which you put together, and you can put them in different order. This one right here on the left here is a resource, ways to get resources here, and then on the right side is going to be like a kind of like a kingdom kind of thing, and where you can go visit the king, or you can go visit different areas of a city kind of thing, and collect books, trade your resources that you get in for other stuff, collect and get worker cards right here, which give you different bonuses. But it's got a really cool way of drafting system. Now you have a meeple on each one of your boards here. So they'll start off on one of the player boards here, and then the cards that you have, let's see, how do I describe them? There's, as you can see here on the player board, it says 1, 2, and 3. you have a set of, I think it's 9 cards, which I think everybody's 9 cards are initially the same. I think they're always going to be the same. Yeah, they're the same. You draft. You take every it's a game that takes place over 6 rounds. So basically, after you use 3 cards, then you discard them. Then you use the other 3 cards, discard them, and then finally use the last 3 cards and discard them. And then you shuffle them up, and then you do 3 more rounds. The cards have 2 uses: the actual ability on the card, and also it depends upon where you place that card in your tableau here, in 1, 2, or 3. The 1, 2, or 3 determine how far you go around, like clockwise around the board with your meeple. So it'll determine what board you end up on. So if you're the red guy right here and you pick the 1 card, you'll go right here and get you'll move ahead 1 and collect whatever resource you get doing that. Or you can put it on 2 and go to the second one here and get, like, say, wood or stone or something else. You also get to take the ability on the card, whether it be to get a ring, to get an extra piece of wood, to get a book, or in the town or whatever. There's different effects on the cards too, and that is kind of the cool part of the game, is where you have a decision. Where am I going to put this card? 1, 2, or 3? Am I going to move here? Do I want to move now, or do I want to, save that movement for later and do a shorter movement now? But yeah, there's a great decision space in and of that. Your main character here, like your prince or whatever, will start off as a low level, like maybe not a peon or something like that, but a noble, and then it will advance and get higher crowns, thus the name Crown of Amara. So you'll be having to trade in rings and gold in order to get a higher crown level. I'll show you some of the pictures here of that. Let's see, I can show you here. Yeah, so this is the guy right here, and he's got 1 crown on him right now. And you're going to want to advance on getting more crowns, that kind of thing. And yeah, bread is the other resource in the game. So it's bread, wood, stone, and I can't think of what the other one is. Something else. So these right here, these cards right here. So this card here allowed you to move 1 with 1 worker and then collect a piece of wheat. This one right here allowed you to move 2 with 1 guy and then place your other guy in any one of these 4 areas. So it kind of like breaks the rule and lets you place one of your guys without moving, but just like teleporting kind of thing. This one right here will give you a ring and allow you to move 3. You can trade the resources in for other stuff. Let's see if I can show you some other things here. But yeah, these modules, like I said, are mix and matching. Generally, you mix and match the resource boards all together and the town boards all together. But I guess there is a way you can mix and match resource and town for a more advanced game. These are tracks right here. You have a building track and I think a citizen track, or what it is, or a town track, something like that. Generally, I think one of the two. I think the building points are a little harder to get than the citizen points. So the building points, they will set you up depending upon what kind of difficulty level you want to start at. They'll put you starting at like 20 or 15 or something like that. And then at the end of the game, the higher of those 2 tracks is going to determine your, like, these little buildings right here, and then these are the the lower of the 2 tracks is going to determine your final score. But it is a really cool little system there. There's this right here will allow you to trade goods right here. During each round, an event will happen where you either get a bane, something good or something bad. It'll happen, like extra resources, or allow you to trade 2 for 1, that kind of a thing. Again, this is a little scoring track right here. Oops. Let's see here if I can show you some other things. This is a good thing of the town right here. This right here allows you to, I can't remember what this is. I think this is the one you trade books like it's a set. You try to collect. You can buy books here, I think. Yeah, this is where you buy books, I think. And then another board is where you can turn in sets of books. You can also get coins here, I think. Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, this is a market area. So that's a market area there. This area to and this is really cool too. This is a tribute section to the king. So see this little disc here with the 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3. So the first person to bring a tribute to the king will only have to give one piece of wood. The second person that gives a tribute to the king will have to give 2 pieces of wood. So the cost goes up as you go. And then there's 2 other areas here which you trade in resources for building points or other things. And again, the first person to go there will get the best or the most points or the best advantage there. But the next person that goes will get a little less advantage or have to pay more, that kind of a thing. But it's a fun little game. Again, it looks very generic, but it is fun. I played it at, I think, 2, 3, and 4 players. More players, I think, is a little bit more fun because people get in each other's ways and stuff like that. It's fun. But yeah, that is my number 57, Crown of Amara. All right, so moving on to my number 56. My number 56 is a game that a re-implementation of a game that I've already had on here, but it's enough for a re-implementation that it's changed the mechanics and everything, so it feels like a different game. The theme is the only thing that's basically the same, and that is, I think I mentioned this earlier, is Fleet, the dice game. It's a roll and write, and let me show you that. All right, so Fleet the dice game, and I think this is ranked higher than the actual Fleet game. I don't know if it's rated higher. I think it is rated higher too, though. Yeah, it's rated 546, strategy 296, 295. Again, so it re-implements Fleet, and they did do Fleet. They did a re-implementation of this, a second edition. I have the first edition. I did back this on Kickstarter, and it comes with. I'll show you. I'll just show you here. It comes with 2 different pads. So you're going to have this one pad here, in which you're going to be getting fish and everything. There's 5 different types of fish: shrimp, cod, lobster, swordfish, and oyster. So you're going to be getting licenses and getting boats. And then it takes place over 10. The multiplayer game takes place over 10 rounds, which seems like a lot, but is a boat phase in which you're going to be drafting die. And it's got a kind of a cool thing. So like in a 2-player game, you would roll 3 die. There would be fish die, and you would pick a die, the other person would pick a die, and then the last die you share. So for each die you pick, depending upon what area you're picking, what fish you're under here, you would get to advance 1 level, mark or check off a box here. And once you get to like a license, you unlock different licenses and different boats. During the fishing phase, you catch 1 fish per boat generally, unless you have an oyster boat, which you'll do 2 fish per boat, or a fish and a coin, that kind of thing. And then you have a market phase, which you're going to be rolling 2 market dice in 1 fish die in a 2-player game, and you're going to be checking off the different areas in these, the market area, the harbor area, the wharf area. Wharf areas like buildings and stuff. You can get the market areas. You can, depending on how many fish you caught, you can technically sell those fish for coin, although you don't really actually sell them. You just, however many fish you have, you get a certain amount of coin for. There's different research vessels you can do. There's a captain's club in which you can unlock your own little private fishing area, which gives you an extra fishing chance. There's a king crab, which is kind of like a luxury fish, which you can unlock different licenses and get end-game victory points. There's a coin track, which you can see down below here, which gives you, you can unlock different bonuses. And this game uses, there's 3 games, and I have all 3 games. This is the only one I've actually played so far, though. 3 Sisters uses the same mechanisms of it, and the other one, Motor City, which I just got too, which is you own an auto dealership kind of thing, and it's a roll and write too. They're all roll and writes. Three Sisters is you grow three different types of crops and everything, but they all use similar mechanisms. But this game I really, really liked thematically and mechanically. Not sure how I'm going to like the other two games, but I figured I liked this game enough to give those games a try. But the solo mode is really good in this one. It's simple to use. And basically, the solo AI will take stuff away from you. So he'll check off license on those fish areas and the building areas. He'll start checking off areas from the bottom up. So he'll like prevent you from unlocking some of the really juicy stuff at the end. So he kind of gets in your way. It's kind of that type of AI. He doesn't have a score, but it works really well in this game. Just to show you the actual pictures here. And again, I did back this on Kickstarter, so I get a lot of little bonuses with it. At the time, I get like I think a set of pens and just different little things for it. Let's see if I can show you here. Yeah, so these are the two different boards put together. Again, I pretty much just showed you them. And it comes with a ton of sheets right here. I mean, you get. I've had this for a couple of years too, and I still haven't come close to. I do plan on laminating some of these, just when I get towards the end, just so I have extra copies which I can use. But it's definitely my favorite roll and write. I think it's the highest rated roll and write that I have here. These are the different die right here. On the left are the market die. The fish die, and then on the right are the market die. But a really clever system. Not as quite as involved as like Hadrian's Wall or something. And this little dice tower, where is it? I got it right here. Little dice tower. I use this little dice tower for everything. And you can see it's got its wear. But fairly easy to put together, but I use this for everything, for all kinds of games. A nice little dice tower that I got. And these are the pens here. I don't even know where the pens are. I know they're somewhere, but again, it's a quick game too. It doesn't take very long. It takes play it maybe in half an hour, 45 minutes at the most. Again, the die are really top notch, good quality components and everything. First player token there. But yeah, that is Fleet the Dice game, and a good family game too. And that is my number 56. All right. So next game is also got dice in the game. Again, this is 7.7 too, so it's just rated really high. All right. So the next game that I have is a game. It's got a hospital theme. I have like at least three or four games in my top 100 that have hospital themes. Some heavier and some lighter. There's a real heavy one that's pretty high up on my list. But this is a lighter one, and this is a dice drafting game in which the dice are patients. So this is Dice Hospital. Right here. Dice Hospital. And this is a game that by Stan Kordonsky. He has a game about Rome. I think it's on Kickstarter. It's just about to end, which is a heavier game than this. But this, I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I like it. But this game gets to the table quite a bit. As you can see, the box is not beat up, but it's got some wear on it. This is a game in which the dice are your patients. So every round, let's see here. So I can show you here. You're going to, it's kind of hard to see, but this right here is your player board here, and I think this might be this is at the beginning of the game. So you start with and these are all tiles that are like together. This is like one board right here. It looks like individual tiles, but it's not. It's one board, and you start off with some base rooms right here, which you can treat patients of different colors, like yellow rooms can treat yellow patients, red, that kind of a thing. It's going to allow you to treat patients at different pit values. So basically, you're going to be drafting. An ambulance is going to come in every round, and you're going to get 3 patients on that ambulance, and they're going to range in PIP value from 2 to 5. 2 are the sicker ones, 5 are the healthier ones, still not, just a little bit sick. And in order to treat those, if they ever get to a value of 1, then they'll die. And once they get to 6, then you can discharge them. So it takes place over different rounds. So you have a drafting state. You start off with a certain amount of patients in your hospital already. You have an ambulance comes, and so it starts to fill up even more. Let's see if I can show you something that's a little bit. So every round you're going to be drafting rooms or specialists, doctors. You start off with, I think, 3 nurses and 1 doctor, I think it is. Let's see if I can show you. Is that Tom Vassell? No. Just want to get a good picture of the actual game. There's got to be one in here somewhere. But yeah, very popular game. These are different upgraded ambulances. I don't have those. Yeah, there. These are the nurses. The white nurses are the generic nurses you start with. And then these are the doctors, the different colors. So the green. Actually, no, these are the different player colors. These are nurses for different player colors. That's right. These are the different types of rooms you can draft. Certain rooms will treat multiple die. You can only ever treat one type of patient, one patient in each room kind of thing. Or one doctor or one nurse can go in the room. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm just not seeing any good pictures of the player boards. I want to see the. So this is an example. So you might draft an ambulance, and they might get a red 5, a yellow 4. A yellow 3, and a green 4. And one player will roll the die, place all the dice from lowest to highest. It might be one of the higher ambulances. So you place the ambulances in order from the lowest PIP ambulances to the highest PIP, and then you do a draft. Whoever picks the sickest patients will go first in turn order. Also get what's called the blood bag, which you can use to treat a patient. Oops, hold on. Let me plug something in. I need my battery starting to go, so give me 1 second here. All right, I thought I had it plugged into the wall, but I had it plugged into the laptop. I didn't have it plugged into the wall. But anyway, so if you pick the sicker patients, you're going to go first in turn order. You're going to go first in drafting the tiles, that kind of a thing. So there's an incentive to take sicker patients. You kind of build an engine. So you're going to want to, you might be good at treating, red patients or green patients, but not so good at yellow patients. So you're going to want to draft more of them. Let's see here. If you pick the healthier patients, you go last in turn order, and you get last choice of either tiles or certain doctors. So, and then the person also too that I think goes first will you start off with say it's a 3-player game. You start off with 1 tile. That's one tile and 1 doctor, and then that person, because they're the first player, they'll get to pick whether or not they draft whether there's going to be another tile or another doctor up. Tiles obviously give you more rooms and help you treat more patients. Doctors give you be able to treat different types of patients or give you different skills, but but there might be, you have to have both in order to treat. You have to have both doctors and rooms in order to treat patients. Let's look at that little dice tower. I don't think I got that. Let's see here. I'm trying to show you. This right here is probably the only thing I don't really like about the game. Is let's see here if I can. Is this scoring track, which I'm not going to be able to zoom in on probably. Yeah. Okay. This is actually a good example of your hospital. So these are the different wards which you're going to place the dice in. I think you have 3 wards here, and if ever you cannot take a patient from an ambulance, if it goes beyond the number of wards you have, spaces in your wards, then they immediately then you have to have one of your patients die, and then you get negative victory points from it. It goes in this morgue area right here. There's a discharged area right here. This is where your nurses start. I want to show you the actual tiles though. So let's see here. Yeah, again, this track right here I was mentioning before. This track is the victory point thing, and you get a little like a syringe that which you track your score with. This round tractor is absolutely horrible. It's this little disc on it, and it's like a circle, but it's got one chunk of the circle out, and you rotate it. It doesn't even play. It doesn't like stick on. It just kind of sits on top there. So you always forget to advance the rounds because it takes place over, I think it's 8 rounds. But yeah, I think they could have done a better job with this victory point and this round tracker thing right here. That's the only thing I don't really like about the game is that these are the ambulances which you're drafting. Let's see here. I want to show you the tiles. Okay, this is a good thing. So here's an example of the different rooms in here and the different dice right here. So these are patients that are in the hospital here. And each round, they're all going to start off. I think I was wrong when I mentioned it before. They all start off at the top level. So this hospital actually holds 12 patients, up to 12. They all start off in the top level right here when the round starts. After you treat them, which means they'll advance in their pip value, you slide them to the bottom. So these 3 yellow dice have been treated already for that round, so they're good. If you don't treat a patient during the round, then they'll get sicker. They'll degrade. So this 3 will change to a 2 if it's untreated, and this 4 will change to a 3 if untreated. If ever it gets to 1, like as I mentioned before, then that patient will die. This 6 right here is getting ready to be discharged. This is the nurses station where they all start here. Up top here, and this is your base hospital. Is this ward area, this middle area, and then this gray area, this top area. So these 3 areas, you can bring any one to, like a nurse or a regular doctor. You can put them in, and this room here treats patients of level of I think 2 and 3. Or is that 1 and 2? Actually, 1 and 2. 1 and 2. It treats patients 3 and 4, and then this one treats 5 and 6, 5 or 6. So you put a nurse in there, and you put and then you can treat one of these, and it can be of any color. These ones up here are specific colors, like this red area. Well, you put a nurse or a doctor in here, and it'll treat red patients. It'll move them up one level. Same thing with the yellow on 1 level, the green one level. So there's 1 basic room, and then this is an advanced room right here, where I think it's got 2 yellow die with an equal sign in here, and that means that it'll treat 2 yellow dies. That's how they probably treated these 2, or it might have been 3 because that might be blocking. But let's just say it was 2. So these 2 initially started at 4 pips values. So they treated both of them together, and they were able to heal each patient 1 level to a 5. So different rooms, like I said, have different abilities. Let's see if I can show you some of the doctors. Yeah, so this is before the round started. Actually, it might be after the round and after they moved them all up. Let's see here. Yeah, but this is your base board right here. Yeah, these are your doctors right here, which you have an administrator, which is kind of like the head of the hospital, and then you have regular doctors and nurses. You can hire extra doctors and nurses, which will have different abilities. Some will be better at treating a certain color dye. Some will be better at treating multiple dyes of a certain pip. If you treat a certain dye of a certain pip, you get to heal somebody else of either a different color or that same dye 1 level higher. So it's good dice manipulation, but it's a fun little game, and a game that is I enjoy playing. It's on the lighter side, but it's a fun game. It gets to the table quite often, and that is Dice Hospital. My number 50, as the TV has gone up. 55. So 55. My age, 55. All right, the next game, moving right along, is a game with a very unique theme. I have not seen this theme in any other game. And I do like, one of the things I do like are unique themes. It's got some cool mechanics where you're building human pyramids, and it's got an awesome solo mode to it. And that game is called Castell. Came out in 2018. This is a game that I know the brothers Murph, they have it on their channel. They really like this game a lot. Um, I like it probably just about as much. It's a game that definitely does not get enough love probably because of the theme and the name. People just don't know about it. Um, but it's a game where you're building human pyramids. And I'll show you right here. It's a game by Renegade Games. Castell. So yeah, you're going to be traveling the Spain, and this, they actually do these castells in Spain, and you're going to be building human pyramids of different levels, and you'll be getting awards for taking place. It kind of works a little bit like Colosseum, the Roman game there, the Colosseum game, and which you're going to be going to different cities, and your worker, kind of like in Toledo, if you ever played that game, you have to be, whenever the fairs take place, you have to be in the city. So you get a little guy, a little human pyramid thing that's got to move around, and he's going to be going to different cities. In the different cities, you can do, I think every round you can do each action once. You can be hiring castellers, the people that are going to be in your human pyramid of different levels. You're going to be increasing your skills, like through practicing your different skills. You're going to be performing local competitions, which are to the left over here. And then at the end of a certain, like every few rounds, indicated by this area up top here, you're going to be performing, you're going to be building little human pyramids and taking place in fairs. If you can meet certain qualifications, or if you score the highest, then you'll get ribbons and stuff for that. You're going to only be recording your highest competition. Like say you scored 30. Kind of like that game I mentioned earlier, the Sealand, where that you're going to be scoring your windmills. In this game, you're scoring your castells, your different human pyramids. And depending upon what your highest human pyramid is, say it was like 25, and then that next round you only get a 23, you'd still keep the 25. So that's like going to be like your base score. And then at the end of the game, you'll score for the amount of ribbons you have in different areas, different other things, your different skill levels you have. So this right area, this rondelle right here, determines what cities you can train what skills in for that round. And this will rotate, and you'll be able to score or train in different areas depending upon what city you're located in at the end of your turn. Or at the beginning of your turn. You can choose maybe to train in a certain city because you want to train for a certain skill, or you might decide, I don't want to train in that city because the other city next to me, which I want to go to, I really want to train in that because the competition is going to, or the local competition or the fair is going to require that. So let me just show you. Let's see here. So this is an example of a human pyramid here. As you can see, even size-wise, these are you're going to be training in areas like balance or strength or width, that kind of a thing, to determine how wide your castell goes. You're going to be every time you get workers, not workers, but performers, you're going to be always sitting there on your side, assembling them in between. So while this is a worker placement type game, not really. It's more of a I guess it is a work. It's definitely a Euro game, but there's stuff to do in between your turns. So there's a little bit more to it than your regular Euro. But this whole puzzly nature of always building and disassembling your pyramids, and in order to have a pyramid like this, you're going to have certain levels of training, whether this is a legal or a non-legal castell kind of thing. But a very fun little game. So basically, in these cities right here, where the competitions are going to take place, this is probably like a 4-player game. Your castellers of level 10, the guys on the bottom, you're going to score a point for every one of those, and then you're going to score a point for every one of the level 6 in your castell. And then other conditions will occur too upon how tall your castell is, you'll get points for. But at the end of the competition, you'll score first place and second place if anyone has the most points, and whoever has the most level 10 Castellers in their area in Matero there will get this chit right here, and at the end it'll be worth victory points at the end of the game. These are different examples of what Castell's got to look like in order to score. Like you score 4 points if you have a Castell that looks like this. Doesn't matter the level. I mean, the strength and levels here, as long as it looks like this and is a legal formation. Let's see here if I can get a close up on the skill wheel here. Might not be able to. Yeah. So this is a level 7 here, and these are drafted out of a bag. These are your player tokens right here, which you're going to be moving around. It's a little Castell. It's kind of a neat little thing. Let's see, I want to try to show you the colors on this game are kind of weird. It's kind of like it doesn't really pop. It's kind of got some bizarre colors. This wheel right here that turns with the different skills on it and the different training areas. This is all. It changes every game, so these all come off, and you can flip them around. And put them out in different orders so you can train. Different cities will have different training points. Here we go. This is a good example. So balance, mix. This allows you to mix Castellas of different strengths in here. This is practice, which allows you to go up on any one of these areas here that you've already trained in before. Balance, width, and you're going to need to acquire these certain skills too to advance in the game. But yeah, it's a very fun game, very puzzly game. Like I said, this right here, you get these bonus tokens, which when you go and you complete these different areas, you're going to be putting your tokens. When you perform a certain task, I can't remember what it is, but you leave these tokens of your player color there. And then if you complete, you're a player to complete one of these local competitions, you get to collect all the tokens that were laid there by other people for doing different things. This is the worst part of the game ever. This is how you have to store them by size. So sorting these at the end of the game, and this is the insert. This is probably one of the worst inserts ever. It's just that it takes so much time to do it. I still use it, but it is a pain in the butt to try to put this game away. But anyway, a fun game. Castell, definitely I think a hidden gem. A game that you don't see a lot of people playing, but it's got a little over midweight, but a very fun game, and a game that I recommend. It is my number 54 Castell. All right, so here is another game. Of course, this is a baseball themed game, and it's the only baseball game that is actually a real board game. It's not like a simulation or like Stratomatic or Inside Pitch or Action PC. Well, not Action PC because that's not a board game, but I mean not a board game per se, but APA, anything like that. It's a true baseball board game that you can actually, even if you're not a baseball fan, it's got such good mechanics in it that that even people that don't like baseball, I can't believe nobody, people that don't like baseball. Actually, there's a guy at my church that can't stand baseball. He's always ragging on me. But it's a game called Baseball. Eagle Griffin Games, Baseball Highlights 2045. And this is an extremely fun game. In this game, I have gotten, as you can see, the corners of the box are all beat up and everything. But I've gotten expansion packs for this game, little mini expansions and extra cards and everything. And this game is just, I got this earlier on in my board game, Yes Career. It's made by Mike Fitzgerald. He also put out a football game, which is decent too, but I like this. This one game, I think, gets the most love. It's by Eagle Griffin Games. And it's a game it's actually for 1 or 2 players, because, a baseball game is 1 or 2 player. You can play it solo or you can play it with another person. But it's a game you can play if you get a few copies of this. Well, even 1 copy, you can probably play like 3 or 4 people, I think. 3 or 4 different games you can have going. I think it comes with either 6 or 8 player boards. But you could have 3 games going on once. You can do competitions with it. You can do card drafting, all kinds of stuff with it. So let me just show you here. Okay, so this is a player board right here. You're going to start out with a deck of 15 cards. You're going to be playing these little mini games, which simulate like a real baseball game. It's kind of like a highlight. Like I said, it's called baseball highlight, so it's kind of like a highlight reel. A little bit of that. So you have a lineup of, I think, 6 cards, I think it is, per game. And out of those 6 cards, you can store one if you want to as a pinch hitter, if you want to bring in the game later as a pinch hitter, and that'll allow you to draw an extra card. So in essence, you'll have 7 cards, but you use one as a pinch hitter. And the baseball cards have different skills on them, meaning like you get a certain amount of hits or you get a certain amount of defensive abilities on those cards, and it allows you to place runners on. And then, so you'll play a card, the other player will play a card to react to your card, kind of thing. And you play over a certain amount of innings. I can't remember how many innings it is, but I think it's until your deck runs out. I think that's what it is, of 6 cards. And whoever has the higher score at the end of the game will win. Okay, let me show you the cards because it's probably not making much sense. So you play a series of games, like exhibition games, and in between each game, you'll be kind of like a Dominion type thing. You'll be able to you get a certain coin value for each card that you have, and you'll be able to use the coin value of the cards that you have in your hand in order to purchase other cards in a draft. So whoever has, I think, the least amount of coin gets the purchase first in the draft. Kind of like a little catch-up mechanism. And then you can better your team, but you have to always discard down to 15 cards at the end of, in between games and stuff too. But your deck will be getting better and better as you go. You start off with, I think, rookies and veterans, and then you'll be able to hire other players and stuff like that too, more advanced players. And there's all kinds. There's robot pitchers. It's kind of like baseball in the future. And that's why they call it 2045, which is not all that far in the future if you think about it. It's only 22 years from now. But you get robot pitchers, you'll get superhuman ones, and basically what it was is that baseball was getting boring. People weren't coming out, and they wanted to ramp it up and make it faster. So they had cyborgs and robots and everything like that. People with cyborg, and then regular human players with robotic arms, different things like that, to advance the game and make it faster and make it more approachable, I guess, to the average person. Kind of like what they're trying to do now, a little bit. So let me show you here. Okay, this is, again, your player board here. Let's see here. Okay, so these are anatomies of a card right here. So again, it works a little bit like any type of deck building game, except baseball oriented. So you have an ability right here, and then you have a defense. Sometimes a defensive ability, sometimes an offensive ability, and then what they trigger. So say, for instance, this person played Satchel Seaver right here. So he would threaten with a single. And there's different colors of the single. There's a white single, there's a red single, and there's a blue single. And depending upon what color the single is, those are either fast runners. This is a slow runner right here. You threaten with a single right here. So say the next person was able to play this beast card right here. So what does it say? Remove from the game and replace with top 0 card of the free agent deck. Okay, so this is a little bit different ability. So basically what it is that one player will play a card, the other player will try to prevent that from happening if he wants to. If he can't prevent it from happening, then he will, the other person's single will go through and he'll get a runner on first base. If the let's see, and that's kind of like how that works. And again, I think it says A for average. Maybe this isn't a slow runner. Maybe that's an average runner. Yeah, maybe that's an average. Yeah, it's not a slow. This is an average because it's got an A there. This card can also be used to pinch hit for the two if you have a really good guy that hits a lot of home runs. Like you might want to pinch hit with that guy. So you have a a money value, which is the 3 here, and then you have a point value, which is, I think, the 6 there on the card. So they can be used during the drafting areas. And that's a cyborg card. So there's some cards which, cancel all hits against the cyborgs, that kind of a thing. Let's see here. These are with advanced tokens here. Yeah, of course, people are going to show off their upgraded components there. I want to see if I can show you more cards. Let's see here. Can I get any effect? Okay, so this card right here is a rookie card. So this one guy will threaten with a double. And again, this doesn't have any defensive ability, so this is kind of like a weak card. Some cards have like more than one hit on them. Like this one right here has a single and a double. So what'll happen is, and with 2 slow runners, so these are slow runners right here. So in this instance right here, if that player doesn't prevent this guy from getting the 2 singles, he'll take his single and move this guy to first base, which of course will advance the other runner. So this guy from third will score. Slow runners move 1 base on a hit. Medium runners, average runners move 2 spaces on a hit if they're able to. Like if there's no other slow runners in front of them. And fast runners will, advance an extra base on like extra base hits, that kind of a thing. But if you get slow runners in front of them, like in real baseball, they can't move further. So, for instance, what will happen here is I think the single will happen first, so he'll move 1 guy ahead, and then the double will trigger, and this is kind of like getting 2 hits, but again, it's simulating the highlights of an inning kind of thing. But it works. It works really, really well in the game. A little hard to explain without actually playing it, but yeah, your deck is constantly improving all the time. You can play in tournaments. You can play a whole World Series. You can play playoffs. Really fun, fast-paced little game. And if you haven't noticed already, the players' names, they take the first name of a famous player, and then they take the last name of another famous player, and they fuse them together. Like this one is Randy, or the 2 first names of famous players, like Randy Sandy. And that's probably Randy Johnson and Sandy Koufax put together. Willie McGuire is kind of like Mark McGuire and Willie Mays put together. And they all do all kinds of, they do like, Roger Clemens. They do, I don't know, like Bob Clemens, like, Bob Gibson and Roger Clemens put together, that kind of a thing. Or Pedro Valenzuela, like Pedro Martinez and Fernando Valenzuela put together. And they make funny names, which is cool. So this guy right here, as you can see, this is probably a better example to show you. So this guy is leading 2-0. He's won 1 game. He's got runners on first and second. So he's threatening with a fast single and a fast double right here. So this is where you put your cards after you play them. So he puts them on home plate. And then if the other player isn't able to block it, then the single will trigger. So these guys will move up 1 base, and bases will be loaded, and then this double will occur, and 2 runners will score, and there'll be a red runner on second and a red runner on third. Actually, the runner on third will also score too because he's fast, so he'll move the extra base. So in this case, there'll be a runner on second, and all 3 runners will come home. So you can threaten more than 1 hit at a time. So if this card were played as a reaction card, then if the other player played a hit and this guy played this card, it would cancel one of the 2 hits on the other player's card. So they interact a lot. But yeah, it's a fun little game. I played this a lot with one of my students, and he likes it. He's not even a baseball fan, but again, tons of cards in the game. Comes with different base sets. The base sets are like Boston, New York, that kind of thing, and they come with all rookies and veterans. But then you're always going to be upgrading your deck and improving your deck. So if you're into Dominion or into other deck building games, you'll like this game, I think. And it's got a baseball theme, so what could be better? So that is my number 50. Getting close to the end here. 54, I think it is. Nope, 53, baseball highlights. All right, 2 more to go. All right, see if we can finish this up here. Yeah, and again, we're at that 120 mark, so this will be about as long as the other video, maybe a few minutes shorter. I think it's going to be a little shorter. But hey, they're my top games, so of course I'm going to, talk a lot about them. All right, so number 52, actually, I get 3 B games in a row. So this is a game by one of my favorite designers. Not It's Simone Luciani, which I know ID Gesture likes him a lot when his compilations. And it's a game that's in the top 100 on BGG. It's a game about building a dam. It's by Cranio Creations, and this game probably had one of the, I don't want to say one of the worst Kickstarters, but it had a lot of problems with some of the components in the Kickstarter. And that game is called Barrage. And yes, it's rated 8.2, number 34. Wow, this game I think has even gone up since I've last looked at it. I've only played this solo. I have my buddy in my gaming group has been wanting me to get this, to play this game with me, and I'm sure once I play it, it's going to probably rise even higher than 52. I blinged up this game on the Kickstarter, and most of the stuff was good, although some of the stuff, as I'll explain later, was not good. So this game, as you can see, the weight is 4.08. Yeah, 4.08. It's definitely, I don't think it's the heaviest game in my top 100, but it's pretty close. It's probably second or third. I know there's at least one game that's higher, probably two. But yeah, this is 4.08 out of 5, and that's one of the main reasons. It's rules heavy, but once you learn the rules, it's probably not too bad. But when you initially start playing the game, you have to relearn everything and how everything works. So it is a little, it is heavy. It's got some cool mechanics in it, but basically you're building dams. It's a game where you generate power and that kind of a thing. It does have a good solo mode, obviously, because I played it solo. I've only played it a couple times solo. I really need to get this to the table. It's definitely a game that's begging. It's number 34 after all. Strategy number 23, so it's super high. So I definitely need to get this game. But this is an example right here. So basically, this is a player board. A main board right here, and what you start up. This is like say the top where the water is, and you're building dams and conduits and all kinds of different things. Obviously, different player colors can get in there, but you're going to be building all these different connections and everything in order to generate power. Going to be filling contracts. This is actually just a regular board. I have a 3D. This came in a bunch of boxes when I got it. I don't have it out, but it has a 3D modular board in which it's like mountains and everything, kind of like what's that game? Fireball Island. That's how it's 3D. This is like 3D, and it's got like I had to put the board together, and it was a pain. But you had to put foam inserts in there to raise up the levels, but it's got a true 3D look to it, and it is super cool once you do have it going. They might have a picture of it in here. I'll show you maybe. But these are, like I said, different conduits and dams you're going to be building. This is a level 2 dam here, and I don't remember which one is called a conduit and which one is a collection storage area or what they're called. But there's different routes where the water comes down, and if you have a dam a certain level, you generate a certain amount of power or that kind of thing. These are the player boards, which are going to be operating as different nations, I think it is. It's one of those player boards where when you put different pieces of the machinery on the board, it unlocks abilities. You get better abilities, bonuses, things like that. Super cool. Card drafting, contract drafting. It's a worker placement game, of course. But this little thing right here, this wheel right here, when the game first came out, these wheels were bad. What you're going to be doing in it, it's kind of like that, it's a little bit like the Windrose in Macau, but this is even worse because that actually worked well. But this right here, you're going to be putting little tiny workers and I think cement mixers or something in here. that you're hiring, and you're going to be building parts of the dam with this wheel. So basically, you put them in at a certain level, and then you rotate it, and there's different spots on the board you can go to where you can turn the wheel faster. But the wheel and the turning and everything was real. The production value of these initially was bad. They did do a second Kickstarter, kind of like a fixed Kickstarter, in which they gave you the ability to. They gave you free player boards, basically. And when I filled it out, I must have filled it out incorrectly because I think I only got like one or two of the replacement boards where I should have gotten all four of them, and I just got kind of messed up, and I never really pursued it. Because my wheels actually worked pretty good. They weren't bad. But the upgraded wheels are so much nicer in the boards. But it did have a lot of complaints, and that's kind of why I think it fell under the radar for a while. But then when people started playing it, it just shot up on the list, and it is a great little game. Let's see if I can show you a little closer. And there's a lot going on in the game, of course. I know game that's weighted 4.08. Right now, I couldn't tell you how to play it at all, other than the fact that you're generating energy. And the water tokens in this game initially they came out like little I don't know, they look like little pieces of like cosmetic jewelry and they were so undersized, and they just didn't look good. They were like shiny little pieces of water, and a lot of people complained about those, and those got replaced and everything too. But those were bad too. Some of the component quality just was not good. Other than the 3D board is awesome, and these boards are awesome. But this rondelle thing right here, basically it traps your workers for a certain while, and you can get them back, but it takes a certain amount of rounds to do it. It can be a very tight game. Yeah, these are not the original, or they might have been the original. No, these are 3D ones, but the other ones, like I said, were really small and really hard to handle, and just there you go. There's an example of they were warped. A lot of the player board, a lot of these rondelles warped a lot, and that was another part. That was what it was. Mine, like I said, were okay. They weren't too bad. Let me just take one out and see if I can show you if I can. Did come with an expansion. Yeah, actually, maybe I did get all four of them. For some reason I thought I didn't, but I guess I did get the better ones, all four of them. Good. Okay. I was worried I didn't. Yeah. So I did get all. I did get the advanced ones. There was something I think I didn't get that I could have gotten. But yeah, it's a big box too. So let's see here. So I don't know what I was thinking, but yeah, great. It is great. It is a beautiful game when you look at it. I don't think. I just want to see if somebody has a picture of the 3D. Yeah, these are definitely blinged up. I definitely need to get better water tokens. I think I still have the original ones, which they aren't. I guess they're functional, but they just don't look very good. Yeah, this is it right here. I don't know if you can see it, but this is a 3D version of it, and you have to put the player board right here, and you have to put foam pieces underneath it to back it up. So it is a pain in the butt. And even these the victory point thing are 3D too. You can are dual layered here, but it just looks super cool when you put the dam here, and it gives you the effect of a dam being going down. But yeah, this is a great. I really got to get this game. I can really show it more love. But yeah, this is definitely here's a better view of it too. You can see the 3D-ness right here, and it looks like a real dam like going down. But I know they had issues with this too. This took forever, I think, to get right. But it does when it is set up on your table. It definitely is really cool looking. And it comes in those 6 pieces right there, which you have to put together to make this. Yeah, those are the 4 the base factions. I think they came with an expansion which adds a 5th, I think, player, and some extra cards and components. Yeah, but it just looks impressive when you build your dams and everything on it, and just. But yep. Those are some of the player sheets there, and this is the. I think this is the that might be the original. Yeah, that's the original box. This is a cool one that somebody built. That's neat. Yep, mountains, hills, and plains. Yeah, but that is my number. I don't want to click on that. That is my number 52, which probably will shoot up again once I start playing this. So next year, if I do start playing it, you may find it up a lot higher. That's my number 52, Barrage. All right, and rounding out this top 10, well, this 60 to 51, the last one before we get together to do our top 50 comparison. Again, ID Gesture, Phoenix Knight, and Lower Slower Board Gamer on this Sunday night, the 30th at 8 p.m. And that is a Stefan Feld game, which there it is. And this is a game which I know ID has had on his channel, and I have a feeling this is probably going to be somewhere in his top 100 if it hasn't already. And this is Bonfire. Definitely a really cool game. Fun game. Of course, a little bit of a point salad game, I guess you could say, but maybe not really. But it is a Euro victory point game. And let me just show you that. So Bonfire, it's a 7.7 rating. It's rated 330 overall. Strategy 195. 1 to 4 players. It's got a decent solo mode. The AI works well, I think. It's a game in which you're going to be gnome. I think it's gnomes or something like that. I don't know what it is. It's basically themeless with a bunch of mechanisms put together. But this is an area in which you're going to be collecting different portals, different resources. This is the area where this wheel will turn around, right? Turn right here. This is your the different actions you can take. These are the different tiles you start with. These 3 tiles here with different actions on them, which determine what action tiles you get when you put them out. There's a little puzzle effect to these action tiles. You're going to be putting them on. This is the main board right here. Again, with the rondelle, it turns. This is an area which you go to different islands and collect different quests, kind of thing, and you have to complete the quests, but you have to get to the islands first. You also can collect different is it gnomes or fairies, or I don't know what they are. I can't remember what they are. I'll just show you here. It's got really cool production value. Let's see, I'll show you your actual player board. Yeah, this is your actual player board right here. Let's see if I can. I guess I can't scroll up or down here. But this is your player board right here, and these tiles right here. You're going to take one. You start off with 1 on your player board, and that determines what tiles. Like you'll get a shipping action out of this one, and I think that big wheel action here. You get the purple one there, and then another one where you take a tile thing, a pathway tile, and you get a certain amount of tiles you start off with. I think you get a couple bonus tiles you start off with, and you use your tiles in order to perform different actions in these different areas here. There's an area where you can get cards, an area where you can elders, you can fulfill different requirements for the elders, which will give you bonuses, and after you run out of tiles and stuff, you will take another one of these tiles right here, either from the top or the bottom. And when you do that, you'll want to connect them on your player board here, and if the more of a certain color you connect, the more tiles you get of that color. You'll get bonuses for that. You can also fulfill quests like that. Yeah, this is a better example right here. So this is shipping. You're going to be building like a I don't know, like a pathway on the outside of your board here. So this is a yellow pathway here. You're going to have these, I can't remember, angels or something. I can't remember exactly what they're called. They're not angels, but it's some kind of goddess or something like that, in which you're going to get here, and you're going to collect resources the more pathways you build. So you're going to be wanting to match colors of your pathway along with the portals. You're going to have to match up the portals. In your portals, you have to collect backwards. And then your quests, you're going to be placing in these different areas here. So you're going to want to color match this for more points. And then these fairies or whatever, fairies I think there, you're going to want to travel along here. And if the fairies go through the portal and end up on the quest, and you completed the quest, you'll get more points. But you're going to want to be building this tracker along the outside board here, collecting resources as you go. These are different gnomes you're going to unlock here, depending upon if you complete quests in the different areas, which will give you bonuses. These are your different resources right here of actions you can take. Your resources are actually to the left here. It's got kind of a weird resources in here. It's got these blue stars and I don't know, these little plant roots and things like that. But it's a fun game. Definitely enjoyable. Again, good solo mode in it. I spent a lot of time on this wheel right here. So these are different portals. Like I said, you can get. There's ways of advancing. Normally you advance, I think, just one space for every tile you have of that kind. If you have two tiles of the same kind, you can advance even further on the wheel. Like if there's a particular portal tile you want to get, and you take generally either any two out of the three resources in here. Like you either take the action tile and the resource, or the portal, and you can take any two out of three, generally speaking. You can get cards that'll break that rule, which will allow you to take all three in a certain thing. You can only place the portals on your board, like I said, from counterclockwise way. So you have to match. You have to have that particular portal, and these are all randomly generated, the portals anyway. So you have to get the right portal in the right place, kind of thing too. But yeah, it's a fun game. Definitely a game that I enjoy. And again, by my favorite designer, Stefan Feld. So that is Bonfire, my number 51. So all right. So I think I've definitely taken enough of your time there. So I did it. I've got to the bottom 50 of the top 100. And this Sunday we'll be doing the top 50 of the 100, April 30th, 8 p.m. on ID Jester's channel. So that is it there. I just wanted to get this done, and I wanted to get this done a little bit before ID got his done. He's doing his 60 to 51 Thursday night, tomorrow night. So yeah, check into that. And I will see you on Sunday night, hopefully. And we'll be doing, again, our top 50 board games as of April 2023. So take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye now.